Hi, I'm Ernabel DeMillo. This is our special edition of Asian American Life. All eyes are on New York City's Mayor Zohran Mamdani, who is calling for a new generation of change.
I promise you this, if you are a New Yorker, I am your mayor. Regardless of whether we agree, I will protect you, celebrate with you, mourn alongside you, and never, not for a second, hide from you. Thank you to my parents, Mama and Baba, for raising me, for teaching me how to be in this world, and for having brought me to this city. Thank you to my family from Kampala to Delhi. We may not always succeed, but never will we be accused of lacking the courage to try. To those who insist that the era of big government is over, hear me when I say this. No longer will City Hall hesitate to use its power to improve New Yorkers' lives.
So what can New Yorkers and the world expect to see with this administration? Will there be sweeping reforms like higher taxes on the rich and more affordable housing? And who are the new and returning faces of AAPI leaders? We'll have more on that. Plus, historic first South Asian, Muslim, and millennial meet Mayor Mamdani. Drum desi rising up and moving fuels political and social change. Who's who in the new administration and what's ahead for the nation's AAPI political landscape. Plus, we get a taste of halal street food. This and more on Asian American Life. He's young. He's outspoken, and he's now the leader of New York City. Zohran Mamdani didn't follow a traditional path to power, but his message resonated with voters, especially young voters looking for something different.
I will wake each morning with a singular purpose: to make this city better for you than it was the day before.
Just a year ago, he was a relative unknown, a New York State Assemblyman representing Astoria, Queens since 2021.
My name's Zohran Mamdani, and I'm running for mayor of New York City.
When he declared his candidacy for mayor in October 2024, he was polling at less than 1%. Today, Zohran Mamdani is a household name. In fact, he topped Google's end of year list as the most trending person. So let's get to know New York City's 111th mayor and how he laid the groundwork to make history. At just 34 years old, Mamdani is the youngest person to lead New York in more than a century. He's also the first South Asian and the first Muslim to hold the office.
I think that what Mamdani did with his identity sort of in this election was also really interesting and important because he didn't lead with being South Asian. He didn't lead with being a Muslim. He didn't lead with those identities. And I think that that was very important because it allowed us to really understand what he stood for, who he was accountable to, what he cared about as the primary focus.
Every politician says, New York is the greatest city on the globe. But what good is that if no one can afford to live here?
Mamdani, a social democrat, ran a progressive campaign centered on affordability, a platform that resonated with the working class. His proposals included freezing rents, making public transportation free, creating city-owned grocery stores, and raising the minimum wage. This messaging helped turn him into a symbol for Gen Z voters and activists. Data showed voter turnout among 18 to 29-year-olds nearly tripled compared to 4 years ago, the largest increase of any age group.
What Mamdani's campaign offered all of us, but especially young people, is a chance to really see yourself as belonging not only in the city as it is, but to see that there's potential here, there's a possibility to stay here long term. And I think that was something that really resonated for many, many New Yorkers.
Mamdani's win also resonated far beyond New York City, particularly within the South Asian community. There are more than 6 million South Asians in the U.S., and that number is growing. New Jersey Assemblyman Ravi Bhalla, who made history as Hoboken's first Indian American mayor, reflected on the moment.
I think it had a huge impact because it showed that if you can become the mayor of New York City as a South Asian, the sky's the limit in America. You know, we thought that at first. You know, I was the first Indian American mayor in in Hoboken, and we broke some barriers. Mamdani is a Punjabi, so we have two Punjabi mayors in both Hoboken and New York across the river for a couple weeks before I transitioned to state assembly.
It really shows that if in a city like New York City, the city of big dreams, where things can happen, take place in our favor, where South Asian minorities get elected to office, anywhere else we can make that happen, because that means we can unite people like never before.
We saw exit polls show that 87% of South Asians voted for Mamdani, which is unprecedented. I think we haven't seen this kind of support for other South Asian candidates. And there's a reason for that. It was because I think Mamdani, what it means for the South Asian community that he was running is not simply about his identities or that he is South Asian, but it's about his understanding of the needs of South Asian communities, his relationships there.
Mamdani embraced his roots throughout the campaign, from explaining ranked choice voting over his favorite drink, to celebrating the end of fast. Even his victory speech exit song turned heads.
I never imagined that I would see a New York City mayor come out to his entry and exit song being like a Bollywood song that I know.
But Mamdani's campaign, and now his mayoralty, has not been without controversy. As a state assemblyman, he has been an outspoken critic of Israel's military actions in Gaza and a vocal supporter of Palestinian human rights, a position that has drawn strong support from progressives and sharp criticism from others. And now, as mayor, Mamdani says his focus is governing a diverse city and working with leaders across the political spectrum. That includes his November meeting with President Donald Trump, a move that surprised some supporters, but also underscored the realities of federal-city relations.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
He has a lot of skills around connecting with different people. I think what I've seen over the last year is he's a really good listener, and he pays attention, and he can communicate with really different kinds of people, and I think that includes people who he doesn't agree with.
Mamdani was born and raised in Uganda. His father is a Muslim academic, his mother Punjabi Hindu. Mira Nair is a renowned filmmaker best known for Monsoon Wedding and Mississippi Masala. The family moved to New York City when he was 7. He attended Bronx High School of Science, where he co-founded the school's cricket club. He is a man of many firsts, including the first New York City mayor to meet his wife on a dating app. Mamdani married illustrator Rama Duwaji in early 2025. Before politics, Mamdani worked in a community-based organization, Chaya Community Development Corporation, helping South Asian families facing foreclosure and housing displacement.
I'm here to talk today about the housing crisis across our state.
Many say it's this deep community work that helped set the stage for his historic win. From Chaya to building relationships with the New York City Taxi Workers Alliance, drumbeats, and other AAPI organizations. From the Bangladeshi aunties to his army of volunteers, Mamdani built trust one relationship at a time.
What he has learned from his work as a community organizer, as an assembly person, as someone who's in relationship with these organizations, means that the community was willing to put his trust into him. And I think that that's really something we haven't really seen in our political life here in New York City till now.
For Asian American Life, I'm Ernabelle DeMillo.
One of the most influential grassroots organizations that helped Mayor Zohran Mamdani get elected into office is Drum NYC, or Desis Rising Up and Moving, organizing working-class South Asian and Indo-Caribbean New Yorkers for more than 25 years, has become a real political force. Beneath the elevated tracks in Jackson Heights is the headquarters of Desis Rising Up and Moving, or Drum NYC. Fahd Ahmed is the executive director.
And we organize working class South Asian and Indo-Caribbean communities in New York City.
Founded in 2000, Drum grew out of a movement to combat Islamophobia, police harassment, deportations, and post-9/11 surveillance.
We are the first mass-based South Asian low-wage workers organization in the U.S.
In the decades since, Drum is exerting real political power that got Zohran Mamdani elected as New York City's first South Asian mayor.
We are breathing in the air of a city that has been reborn.
This was a community that was amongst the first to throw down behind him alongside like left and progressive people. And so a lot of the momentum was really built up there while he was still polling at like less than 1%.
Drum and its sister organization Drum Beats pounded the pavement and dialed up their neighbors. It turns out knocking on 15,000 doors and making 60,000 phone calls gets results.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
Engagement from our communities was just at astronomical levels. The voter turnout for our communities increased by 350%. South Asians, Indo-Caribbeans, and Muslims make up somewhere around 7% of the potential electorate, and we were 15% of the voter turnout for the election. And so had a disproportionately high impact in the election result.
But Drum's work extends beyond elections. For months, Drum has been demanding justice for the police killing of 19-year-old Bangladeshi youth, Win Rosario.
Rosario was somebody that was dealing with mental and emotional health issues, but was never of risk of harm to himself or to anybody else. But NYPD officers barged into the home and within minutes shot him dead.
Both cops knew my son may have been in emotional distress.
But demands for both internal discipline and criminal charges against police officers Salvatore Alongi and Matthew Sanfrocco faced a major setback in December, when the Attorney General announced she would not be pressing charges.
A deeply, deeply disappointing decision, because these officers were reckless at extreme levels, clearly in violation of policing standards. And so at the minimum, severely negligent, if not outrightly just reckless. We're going to continue to press the Attorney General to reconsider their decision.
With Mamdani now in office, the CUNY law graduate says the real test is if campaign promises turn into policy.
Our goal is to push that the incoming administration holds true to its promises of making the city more affordable, of freezing the rent, of bringing about universal childcare, of having fast and free buses, but overall a commitment to improving the city for working class people.
Who's got the power? We got the power!
But for Ahmed, lasting change depends on more than elected officials.
We know that the transformation of society cannot just happen from the top down. Movements and communities also have a role to play from the bottom up.
We got the power! What kind of power? What kind of power?
For Asian American Life, I'm Rainer Ramirez.
From setting policy agendas to staffing, planning a new administration is the work of the mayor's transition team.
In the coming months, I and my team will build a city hall capable of delivering on the promises of this campaign.
A process New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani is carrying out with the aid of 17 transition advisory committees comprised of more than 400 appointees.
Right now, we have this amazing moment. We see the first South Asian mayor elected, first Asian American mayor in New York City history. It's such a breakthrough in our history, and I think it's inspiration to Asian New Yorkers and all New Yorkers because it brings a new generation of voices, new policy ideas.
Mamdani's historic all-female-led transition team is comprised of City Hall veterans, former federal officials, and nonprofit leaders. Serving as co-chairs are former First Deputy Mayor under the Adams administration, Maria Torres Springer, former Federal Trade Commission Chair, Lena Khan, former Bloomberg administration official and current president of United Way of New York, Grace Bonilla, and former Deputy Mayor of Health and Human Services and Director of the Mayor's Office of Management and Budget under the de Blasio administration, Melanie Hartzog. Political strategist and de Blasio aide Elena Leopold is the transition team's executive director. An experienced group that includes 2 Asian Americans, Lena Khan, who was born in London to Pakistani parents and moved to the U.S. when she was 11 years old, and Maria Torres Springer, who was born in Los Angeles to Filipino parents and lived in the Philippines from the age of 9 to 14 after her mother passed away. Representation that leads to a more inclusive society, according to the acting director of the Asian American Initiative at Columbia University, Professor Ching Gao.
Mamdani's transition team, it's amazing. It's a very diverse team, well representing all different communities and population groups in the city. It's wonderful. There are 2 members who are of Asian American background, and one of them, Lena Kang, is actually a Columbia Law School faculty member. I'm just so proud of my colleague who is going to be able to contribute her knowledge and expertise, and together with the transition team, move our city forward. I think a good representation in the transition team, in any administration, is a good thing because people's concerns can be reflected. Different communities, how they live, what they want, where are their needs, can be translated into policy, into action.
CUNY is also represented on the mayor's transition committees with 20 appointments from faculty and staff.
CUNY faculty and CUNY members are seen as experts of the city. And as the primary, public institution for higher education in New York City, I think that shows a lot of care and respect for the work that happens here. And that goes, that's something that I don't know if we've always felt from our administrations here in New York City.
Mamdani's diverse transition team, with backgrounds spanning finance, social services, and housing, focuses on the mayor's affordability agenda and building a representative government to address the city's needs.
Also, because of the transition team having representation of different community members, I hope there's an increase in the cultural and language capacity for the professionals, for service providers, to really meet people where they are and bring those resources and opportunities to the different community members.
For Asian American Life, I'm Susan Jun.
I'm Vivian Lee. The Asian Pacific American Institute for Congressional Studies says last year there were nearly 500 Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander American candidates running for office at the local and state levels. That's a 130% increase from 2023. Many of these candidates became firsts in their races, had experience running for office, and some were re-elected. Here's a brief introduction now to 4 of them who became part of November's Blue Wave.
Congratulations on this incredible election.
Democrat Aftab Puraval, 43, won a second term as Cincinnati's mayor with 78% of the vote, soundly defeating his opponents, including Republican Cory Bowman, half-brother of Vice President J.D. Vance. Puraval's Indian father and Tibetan mother immigrated to Ohio, where Puraval was born. A lawyer who first ran for county clerk of courts, Puraval lost a race for Congress in 2018, but has hit his stride at Cincinnati City Hall.
This council and I will pour everything that we have into this city to protect us from the chaos that's coming out of Washington, D.C.
Another re-elected Democratic mayor, Boston's Michelle Wu, 40, and the first woman, first AAPI, and first person of color to lead Beantown. The Chicago-born daughter of Taiwanese immigrants, Wu garnered 93% of the vote in November. She ran unopposed after Josh Kraft, a nonprofit leader and son of Patriots owner Robert Kraft, dropped out. After Wu and other city leaders were sued by the Trump administration last summer for allegedly obstructing ICE, Wu signaled in her victory speech on election night that her re-election was pushback by voters in Boston.
Against the backdrop of a federal administration's chaos and cruelty, we faced a choice. Cave to the pressure, backtrack and change course, or double down on the values that founded our nation.
The fact that Democrats won across the board by larger margins than they have in the past in those same areas, again, means two things: that Democrats were galvanized and excited to vote against Trump, and that Republican voters weren't galvanized.
Political scientist Charles Tien says off-year elections usually yield low voter turnout, but last November's races happened after nearly 10 months of this.
Witnesses say it was a 15-year-old's birthday party.
ICE crackdowns in cities across the country. On DHS's social media accounts, they play like movie trailers.
People are being arrested in plain daylight, just disappeared off the street.
You are kidnapping at New Yorkers from the streets of New York. Have you lived with yourself?
For these elections to say that, we're going to elect people who are first or second generation immigrants to political office sends a great message to all the immigrants in this country that there is support for you.
Tien says November's races proved there is power in incumbency as well as prior campaign experience for AAPI candidates. 61-year-old Ghazala Hashmi is now Virginia's first female lieutenant governor and the first Muslim American to be voted into statewide office anywhere in the country. But as state senator, Hashmi set a precedent too. She was Virginia's first South Asian elected to the legislature. Hashmi emigrated from India when she was 4. Raised in Georgia during desegregation, she says her faith motivated her to run.
Let us move forward, choosing compassion over callousness, democracy over demagoguery, courage over cowardice.
And 40-year-old Swarnjit Singh, the first Sikh American to be elected mayor in Connecticut's history, in this case, Norwich. He was also a council member before running for the city's top post. Singh garnered 57% of the vote, won by a margin of 17% over the next leading candidate, and had campaigned on affordability and revitalizing Norwich's economy. Singh's own journey through his American dream as an immigrant on a student visa energized his campaign.
Overall, we have rejected racism. And most importantly, I think this is time for AAPI community or any other diverse community not to feel shy, not to feel scared. Come out. You have right to run for office as much as anybody else.
An attitude Tien says a new generation of more civically engaged AAPI Americans are acting on.
That's kind of an American story. Women didn't run for office in large numbers until the 80s and 90s. African Americans didn't run for office until the 60s and 70s. Asian Americans and Hispanics, not until the 90s. And so the second generation of Asian Americans, they do participate and they are leaders, not only of the Asian American community, but leaders of cities. And I think they can be effective leaders.
Now, all eyes on this November's midterms and 2028. For Asian American Life, I'm Vivian Lee.
I'm Kyung Yoon, standing at the corner of West 53rd Street and 6th Avenue, where the famous Halal guys have been serving up chicken and beef gyro platters for decades. But lately, vendors are saying business is sizzling even hotter, and they're calling it the Mamdani Effect. Ever since Mayor Zohran Mamdani's election, halal food vendors say they've noticed a surge in curious eaters.
Very good for business and good for culture.
This city is your city, and this democracy is yours too.
New York's mayor isn't just talking policy, he's talking plates, with kebabs and biryani topping his list of favorites.
After the election, Mamdani is like win. The business going up a little bit because he spoke about the halal food street. So now the business is going great.
What is the most popular order?
The most popular order at the halal guys, the combo one. Chicken and beef with the salad and rice. And we have a topping like onion, pepper, tomato, and olives. And we have sides like hummus, and we have dessert like baklava. Like once you're gonna try, you're gonna love this plate.
And I noticed you have a secret white sauce, right?
Yeah, we have a secret
Tell me
one.
about the secret white
You
sauce.
say it's secret. It's a secret.
These Japanese exchange students from Toyo University say they didn't mind standing in the cold for a taste of genuine New York City halal food.
When I come around here, this area, there is a lot of halal food truck, so I think I should try.
Is it better than like sushi?
That's a tough question, but yeah, I think I should try because, as I said, there is a lot of food truck. So I think and also smell is really good. Yeah.
So you couldn't resist?
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm trying halal, guys. My friend recommended it, and it's apparently supposed to be really good, so I'm quite excited to try it.
Farida is visiting New York City from London. As a Muslim, she loves halal food, and she's excited that Mayor Mamdani is showing New Yorkers it's just good food for everyone.
I ordered the chicken platter with all the sides and trimmings and all the sauces.
And are you excited to
I'm
try
very
halal?
excited, yes, yeah.
They got good sauce, the spicy sauce, the white sauce, so you probably like just the sauce. That's the main thing.
We have two secret ingredients. First one, the white sauce, and second one, our customers. They love our food and we love them.
And whether you're a longtime fan or a first-timer, the Mamdani Effect is real. Halal food is having a moment. And judging by the lines, New Yorkers can't get enough of it. I'm Kyung Yoon for Asian American Life.
You could find all these stories on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Asian American Life. Plus, watch us on the go with our CUNY TV app. As we close our show, let's reflect on the hopeful words of New York City's Mayor Zohran Mamdani.
From today onwards, we will understand victory very simply. Something with the power to transform lives, and something that demands effort from each of us every single day.
I'm Ernabel DeMillo. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.